I'm Pearl, and today I'm joined by Lorna to ask her some more interesting questions that she receives regularly on her social media platforms, which to answer individually would be extremely difficult. So we always try our best to fit in as many as we can on these mini episodes. So my first, welcome Lorna.
Thank you and welcome, Pearl.
One question that comes in quite frequently is like pain, like when we feel pain, and like I suppose sitting with that pain, like how do we heal? Like how do we get through it?
That's really a very hard one because it depends on what kind of pain you're talking about. So if you're talking about overall pain or physical pain in the human body, that's a hard one. And then if you're talking about emotional pain as well,
I think a lot of people, I'd imagine a lot is emotional pain. And even if it's physical pain you're feeling, it is an emotional pain as well.
It is.
So it's like when you feel that pain, how do you allow it to be there and then to process it and then to, I suppose, ultimately you let it go or you adjust to it?
I think for an awful lot of people, they, at that particular time, they feel so lost. They feel in a sense that they can't escape the pain, that turmoil that they're going through or feeling so lost. And sometimes people would say to me, Lorna, I can't even pray for myself. I can't reach in spiritually into myself in that way. And that's where I think that others can help someone that is going through a lot of turmoil, a lot of pain, is to help them as well to reach in spiritually so that they can accept it, accept the pain that's there so that they can see, how would I put it, so that they can help to see the way to walk through the pain and come out the other end. And that's one thing I would always say to everyone. You will always come out the far side. You'll always come out to where the light is. But lots of us kind of are stuck and we're stopped, and we don't want to see the light in one sense. In one sense, humanly, we're desperate to see it. But in another sense, we're kind of, I'm not strong enough. I'm not able. And it's really, really hard. And that's where I think it's really important for others, again, to come in spiritually and help a person, give them the support they need, the encouragement they need, and to remind them that their guardian angel is there, whatever they believe in.
And how does someone do that spiritually? Like, how is that by saying a prayer for someone, or is that by, like, I think for a lot of people, unless you feel like you're physically doing something, you don't feel like you're doing enough.
I think, if you can't physically do something, say someone is, 100 miles away from you and there's no way you can, I think to pray for them every day and ask for them every time spiritually they come into your mind, you're being asked. Spiritually, you're being asked to ask for them, for that grace to help them. And, nowadays we have the telephones. You could ring and, ask them how they are and, in a sense, tell them some lovely things that have been happening in your life to help them to see the light, and encourage them, give them something to believe in, give them hope. It's like, maybe saying, well, in August I might be able to get out to see you. I'm really trying to work out how I can get to see you, to help them to look forward to something, you know, and to remind them spiritually. I think why we struggle so hard to get through all kinds of pain is that we are not connected enough spiritually to our soul, because our soul is taking those steps with us. Our soul is doing all of this, but again, as I said before, we have, there's my soul and here's my human self, and I'm only thinking of my human self. I can't cope with this, I can't struggle, and your soul wants to connect with you. It wants to help to ease the pain as well. It wants to help for you to see the light and the hope. And that's the part that we can't see, in a sense. It's not a physical thing like this chair. It's a spiritual thing. Your soul is a spiritual being. It's that spark of light of God. And it wants to connect humanly with you. And it wants to help you to get through whatever pain that is. You could be a person that has, everything in one sense. You could say, I really have nothing to complain about. Like, I have a lovely home, I have a great job, I have friends, you could have loads, but you're saying, I'm still in terrible pain because I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed. And to me, that is a disconnection spiritually to ourselves, that connection. And we're, in a sense, in the world today, trying to make that connection again. But I think in one way we're kind of maybe I'd say trying too hard, because we think it should come in a box in the post, and, open it up and I have it there and then. But the thing is, you do have it. We have just forgotten how to connect.
So is there any kind of simple little maybe practices or something that like we could start doing every day to just start that process of connecting with our soul?
Well, I know I have given many before, and they're very simple ones. And one is, saying good morning to your guardian angel. But you could say good morning to your soul, to make you more conscious of it. It's like saying good morning to me, and that's that way you're saying it to yourself, good morning, and just allow yourself to be conscious. Or maybe even, another thing, like, I suppose people, in a sense, we have forgotten, and we have, in a sense, we don't want to work at things. We want things just to come. Why should I have to work at it? But you don't have to work at it in one sense, but in another sense, to help the human part of us, we do. But that kind of work should be enjoyment, should be love, should be, this is good for me. I am writing a letter to me, to my soul. I'm saying good morning to my soul. I'm standing in front of the mirror and I'm saying good morning to my guardian angel, and I'm asking my guardian angel to help me this day, to keep on reminding me of my soul, of that spiritual connection, to help me to get through this pain and not feeling lost and not feeling down or anxious, and afraid, because we are very much afraid. People, it's like as if this fear has come up and people are afraid of life. And yet life is a gift, a wonderful gift.
I think we all probably at different stages really look for external validation, like on how we're seen, like from other people,
Well,
and we feel that we need that to make us feel real in a sense. Like,
yeah,
so, like, why do we feel like that, or why is that so important? Is it just the way humanly now the world is, or like, because it's changing how people are, like a lot
yeah.
of people are,
I
they're so
think,
caught up in that they're disconnecting even more.
yeah, I think a lot of it has happened because, we are, what would you say, conditioned. We're contaminated by the world. We're all the time thinking of, what somebody else will think, how I look, how I do things. Um, I see that all of the time, and sometimes I just say, when when will mankind get to the stage, and a grown woman or a grown man will get to the stage as early as possible, that it doesn't matter what someone else thinks, what way you do something, because you are perfect and unique. You're special. No one else can do what you do in the way you do it. But we want to, what would you say, draw that line the way everyone else draws it. So it's all copy. We have lost, in a sense, a lot of our, what's that word, individuality, individuality, and we need to bring that back. We shouldn't be afraid. We shouldn't be thinking that, oh, I have to do this perfect like everyone else. I have to look good for everyone else, because you're already good. You're already perfect. And in accepting yourself spiritually and humanly, it doesn't matter what someone else thinks.
It's like
Because
we all have flaws.
humanly, we all have flaws, but are they flaws? Like, I'm dyslexic. There's so many things I cannot do like everyone else. Are they flaws, really? We need to, connect spiritually, and
Change our understanding.
our understanding, connect to our soul, and realize that's not a flaw. That's unique to me. And that's what makes me and you and everyone that important link in life itself, in spirituality, in the connection with our souls and everyone else in the world. Like, I just love the way that, when I hear someone saying that they are in so much pain, and, they see no hope, and yet the hope and the light is right there in front of them. But why they can't see it is because the world has put this big block up in front, this big shield up in front, and not allowing you to see it, not allowing you to see what a wonderful spiritual human being you are, and how great you are. That you're looking around and you're looking at everyone else and you're saying, I'm not like them, so what purpose has my life? My life is nothing, because look at what they have. Look at what they're doing. And you have forgotten to live life yourself. You're thinking you have to live it like everyone else, but you've forgotten how to live your life. Do what you want to do, whether it is to go out and prim the roses, whether it is to, go for a walk and talk to people, or whether it is that in your job you start to, what would I say, spiritually and humanly even connect to your job, and suddenly your job is not as boring as you thought it was because you're actually growing spiritually. You're becoming more open. You have allowed yourself to be more conscious of your soul and your guardian angel. And again, as I said before, as you touch things, you know now, everything you touch, everything you see, you're not just seeing it through your human self, you're seeing it through the eyes of your soul as well. I know I could go on and on, so I better stop. And I don't even know if that's answering the question of that pain, but we are in a huge amount of pain. But it is like that blindness. And the world has done that. The world has conditioned us. And even children today at school, they're conditioned that if they're not the best, they're useless. They'll go nowhere. They're no good. But we're all so important. And we all have, what would I say, like a huge importance, a huge link spiritually in the world. And we have so many, I hate the word destiny because everyone thinks you only have one destiny. Like, that's crazy. You have so many destinies. Like, part of our destiny today is talking today on camera, answering questions, you have so many. And you should never just be focused on one. And even if you see one and you say, God, I would love that, and you are heading towards it, that is wonderful. But if for some reason you're suddenly turned, don't worry about the one you saw ahead of you. You've been turned for a reason.
I think people just find that really difficult to comprehend, that especially if you see one path on, or destiny or path on front of you, and then something happens, or it's changed, and it's like, I suppose maybe it's, you have to have that belief that there's a reason behind it all, even if you can't see the reasoning.
I think,
and may never understand the reasoning.
But I think it's just, what would you say, why. I never look for a reason. I never look for that why. And again, that's part of that I have grown spiritually. It's part of that I'm so aware of my soul. I don't, if something I'm doing doesn't work out in the way maybe everyone else thought it was to work out, I'm actually quite happy.
How so?
Because I know it has turned out the way it's meant to.
But so it all comes down with how connected you are to your soul. Like, if something doesn't happen, or
it's
like the way you want it, how do you not feel like just sad or upset, or like, is that where you've evolved that much, or you're just able to process all them feelings?
Maybe I think it is partly that I have, in a sense, spiritually, and you use that word evolved, and thanks, I can pronounce it, that's great. But I think it is the teaching that the angels have been giving me all my life, the one words they used to always say to me, and that would have been when I'd be, criticised, or people, saying, oh, she's retarded, like, pushing you away. And the angels would constantly say, they know no better. And at a very early age, I started to understand those words, they know no better. And I can't actually explain clearly that understanding to you, because I know it's on a spiritual level as well. But I believe we all can get there, all of us, because I have been shown many futures, many, many wonderful futures, and all those wonderful futures come together as one. It's not just one future, one wonderful future.
It's just a part of...
It's, yeah, they're parts. And I don't know even if that was answering your question.
No, it does. It answers some of it, but I think for a lot of people, it's still trying to
hard.
understand it and trying to be able to be that connected. That is difficult.
Well, you see, to me, I don't think it's difficult. I think, in a sense, it's for everyone to say, let me go back to be a child again, humanly in my mind. You know, when a child is born, it's pure love. But it has to learn everything humanly. It even has to learn, you know, to cry, to smile, you know, to stand up and walk. And that all took time, but it did it. So to me, you can do it. And I think people can do it in the sense of quicker than they think.
It's just to find that belief within.
It's to have that belief and stop spiritually doubting yourself or humanly doubting yourself. I have to talk about the human part and the spiritual part because they're connected. In a sense, they are one. We can't have one without the other. And I think it is our acceptance of the spiritual part, but the human part is putting up so many blocks. You know, we're questioning, asking why, and I have to smile at that again because that's something that I don't really ask. Why?
It's getting comfortable with not.
Because I suppose.
Why?
Yeah, I suppose it is because I know. But every human being knows as well. Deep inside of them, every human being knows that they're not just flesh and blood, that there's something more. And that something more is your soul. That something more is God. That something more is the supernatural, spirituality. You know, it's the whole lot combined. And again, it's just, you know, we have to say to ourselves, yes, I believe. And I know that's hard. Every time you're given proof in your life, personally, you know, it could be subtle little things. Like, I'm trying to remember something that, oh yes, let's say, everybody was looking for, searched the whole house, and they were looking for this tiny little box. And everyone searched under that couch loads of times, and there's nothing under that couch. And then suddenly everyone decided to say, okay, let's ask God to help us. Let's ask the angels to help us. Let's bring this in. And everyone walks into this room and looks around and says, well, we've done that, but we'll all look once more. And they look under the couch, and there's the little box. Things like that happen when you have the faith. Yeah. You know?
You just have to look for it, or like feel it.
Yeah, feel it and allow yourself to see it. More than likely, all those people looking for that little box were blinded because they were full of fear, they were full of anxiety, they were just being human in that sense, not allowing the spiritual side to come in. So they never saw it, but yet it was there all the time.
Okay, great. Thanks a million.
Okay.
It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Well, thank you, Pearl, and thank you to everyone. I hope I didn't bore anyone whatsoever. I hope you enjoyed it, and I would like to say just God bless you and love you. Bye-bye.